We've got some breaking news from baseball where the New York Yankees have acquired third baseman Ryan McMahon from the Colorado Rockies ahead of next week's trade deadline. McMahon is a former All-Star and was hitting .217 this season with 16 homers and 35 RBIs, playing in a very hitter-friendly Coors Field environment. He's also leading the National League with 127 strikeouts. So if we get a look at all the details of this deal for the trade, the Rockies, there you see it, they're going to receive a pair of pitching prospects from the Yankees. New York filling a hole at third base for the next few seasons with McMahon under contract for the 2026 and 2027 seasons at $16 million per season. All right, let's welcome in our baseball analyst, Matt Snyder, here to talk about this as we are just 6 days out from that trade deadline. Matt, what are the Yankees getting here in Ryan McMahon, and do you have any concerns about him coming to New York from Coors Field?
There's always a little bit of a concern when you leave Coors, but also one of the things about Coors Field historically is that it's been proven hitters hit way worse on the road when they play for the Rockies because you get so used to hitting in Coors Field, you develop bad habits, and then when you go on the road, you get worse. So sometimes people can be freed from there to a certain extent. Remember, DJ LeMahieu was amazing for the Yankees the first few years after he left the Rockies. So I'm sure that the Yankees will be looking for a little bit of a leveling up here with McMahon, and the good news for the Yankees is he hits left-handed. And I'm sure that was part of the equation with that short right field porch in Yankee Stadium. He does have power. Unfortunately, in terms of the stats where they are ballpark adjusted, such as OPS plus, weighted runs created plus, they've consistently shown that McMahon is a below average hitter, somewhere from 2 to 8% below average. So he's not going to go crazy or anything. But I think the biggest selling point, other than the fact that he hits left-handed, is that he's a good defender at third base. And the Yankees have had problems on defense all season. We just saw Aaron Boone the other night talking about how in Toronto, the Yankees, they went 1-6 in their last 7 games in Toronto, and he said, we gave them so many extra outs. Well, McMahon's a good defender at third base. For a lot of the year at third base, the Yankees had Jazz Chisholm, who should be at second base or even in the outfield. They finally took Jazz away from third. They moved him to second base. They had a hole at third. Now they put McMahon in at third. He's a good defender. Maybe that helps Anthony Volpe get back to being an above-average defender, having somebody with as much range as McMahon has at third. We'll see. But for now, I think the book is good defender with a chance to have good power in Yankee Stadium, and that's about where we are.
So the Yankees fill that need at third base, and we know that that's something they were looking for. They were connected, one of the many teams connected to Eugenio Suárez. Our MLB insider Jim Bowden saying that this deal kind of takes them out of that sweepstakes. So what do you think the market is right now as things stand for Suárez?
Well, and we just heard the other day that the Mets are probably out on him as well. They're going to focus on other stuff, which makes sense because they have guys who can play third. So the Cubs seem like the favorite in the clubhouse here. They could replace Matt Shaw at third base, send Shaw back down to the minors, get him a little more seasoning, and then try to give it a go with Shaw next year. They have a lot of talent toward the majors, like either AAA or Major League ready right now that they could give back to the Diamondbacks in exchange. And that's important because the Diamondbacks still have Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte. They'll have Corbin Burns coming after Tommy John surgery probably in the second half next year. They don't want an extended rebuild. They want guys who are close to the majors. So the Cubs are a fit there. The Brewers could also come into play. They need a lot more slugging in their lineup if they want to stay this hot. The Mariners probably could use another power hitter. I don't know if they want to go back to the well there because, as we know, the Diamondbacks got Suárez from the Mariners, and he didn't have that great of a time in Seattle. And if I'm talking about reunions, I should mention the Reds are right there on the periphery of the wild card race. They might be ready to add. They could use them at third base. They could use some extra power in the lineup there. That would be a fun reunion.
I was holding out hope that you were going to say the Reds. You saved the best for last. That's what I'm hoping for, a little bit of a reunion there at Great American Ballpark. We talked about the Mets being out probably on the Suárez sweepstakes, but they also made a deal today, and they're acquiring left-handed reliever, Gregory Soto from the Orioles. So what does this move do for the Mets bullpen?
It's depth. It's not going to move the needle in a big way, at least not initially. There's David Stearns in his systems with the Mets. They're very good at getting the most that they can out of pitchers. Going back to Stearns' days in Milwaukee, and those systems have remained in place with the Brewers. We see how they excel with all these pitchers who have not had success other places. It's going to be tough to have him make an immediate impact here. He walks too many guys. He still has the strikeout rate, but he just allows so many base runners. And when you're going in short relief stints, to have that high of a walk rate, that can be problematic. We'll see if the Mets, sorry, I was just thinking about the Brewers, if the Mets can kind of get their hooks in him, find out what he does best, make him really good by September. It's possible. He does have a really live arm. It's nice to have a left-hander down there who can bring it the way that he can. But I would say that for me, this is more of just a small appetizer for the Mets. They're going to do more in the bullpen. They're probably going to grab rotation help and then at least one position player too.
Matt, I know you know that our producer Jack is a Mets fan, and he keeps reminding me in my ear that Shohei Ohtani is 0 for 5 in his career against Gregory Soto. So I think he's pretty pumped about it.
Well, there it is.
Yeah,
there it is. That's the NLCS move. Just come in and get Ohtani out. Yeah, all right. I see him
Whatever. If the Mets fans like it, cool. We're all happy. Matt, we appreciate it. Going through some of the moves that we're seeing ahead of the MLB trade deadline. Again, that is just 6 days away on July 31st. And looking ahead to some games tonight, we're talking about the Yankees acquiring Ryan McMahon. They are in action tonight against the Phillies. We got the Tigers and the Blue Jays, the Giants welcoming the Mets to town. That is in the late slate at 10:15 Eastern.